The Vexilla Praetor is a force multiplier for the Custodes. It allows you to keep your army alive longer and make surgical attacks that win you games. Today on Titan Tactics, we're continuing Custodes Week with a deep dive on the Vexilla Praetor. Most people are already bringing Vexillas to their games, but I'm going to show you how to get the most out of them. Stick around. The Vexilla Praetor can be taken in either Terminator armor or as a standard Custodes. The Terminator Vexilla has an extra wound, taking it up to 6, but otherwise they both have the typical Custodes stat line, but with 4 attacks. They also both have the character keyword, which is crucial for keeping them alive long into the game. I typically take the non-Terminator version with a Castellan axe, as I prefer it to have the enhanced combat ability and it's less points. You may want to consider the Terminator version for Deep Strike, but I don't think that's a very good idea. You want your Vexilla on the board, buffing your army, and if you plan to use any of the Vexilla's stratagems, you can't really use them on the turn that you Deep Strike, as you have to have either have been on the board or not move. The Vexilla can take one of 3 abilities, and has several other abilities that can be granted from relics, along with its base ability for Imperium infantry and bikes to reroll morale checks within 6 inches. Keep in mind that works for any Imperium unit, so any Astra Militarum, AdMech, etc. will benefit from this ability. Let's go through each of the Vexilla's 3 abilities. The first one is called the Vexilla Imperius, which gives all Custodes models within 6 inches 1 attack. This Vexilla is particularly good when you have a high number of Custodes models within that 6 inches. An army with a lot of Custodian Guard or paired with a large number of bikes in range can be very good. That said, it's pretty hard to make this Vexilla work because it's rare to have all your Custodes models bunched together, especially when they get all the way to combat. So I rarely take this outside of casual games, and it's only really worked for me when I've had opponents who had to come to me, large orc hordes that wanted to charge at me. That's when it's really worked. Otherwise, it hasn't really paid off. The second ability is the Vasila Defense, which gives Imperium infantry a 5-up invulnerable save against ranged weapons, if the unit is wholly within 9 inches. This can be particularly good if you have valuable infantry models that you think may be targeted by high AP weapons. My servitors here are a great example of that kind of unit. The unit is small enough to fit within range, but it benefits from the reroll morale and leadership because it is likely to take morale checks, and since it's likely to be shot by high AP multi-damage weapons, the 5-up invulnerable save is really important. This Vexilla is particularly good when paired with the Plant the Vexilla stratagem. For 1 CP, you can add 6 inches to the range of this Vexilla ability if you haven't moved. And this can pair particularly well with a gunline army like AdMech or even Astra Militarum. The third ability is by far the most popular, and that is the Vexilla Magnifica, with its ability to give all Custodes units within 6 inches a -1 to hit against shooting. The Custodes are already a tough army that's very hard to kill and fast moving. Giving them an additional -1 to hit can dramatically reduce the amount of damage they take. At the start of this first turn, you can see here I have infantry units, a dreadnought, a large tank here, and a unit of bikes that are all within range of this Vexilla. At the start of my turn, what I'm going to do is advance my Vexilla. It's going 5 inches. That's an 11-inch move that it can make here. So it can move up pretty far. Now the rest of my Custodes units are going to advance up the board, but I can be careful to ensure that they're going to be able to stay in a range of this character. And my bikes here have a pretty large move, and they're also now still in range of it. So by moving the Vexilla first, you get a good sense of how much distance you have to move with. Of course, these other vehicles and Dreadnought can move up. This tank wants to stay pretty far back, so it'll move the minimum distance just to get within 6. So here now my whole army has moved up, and it's still in range of this Vexilla. Throughout the game, you want to try and preserve that if you can, because that -1 to hit can be very punishing against the right kind of army. Let's say your Custodes were up against a Tau gunline. Even with the Vexilla Magnifica, this Tau army could likely wipe your key units off the board. Whatever was left would die in Overwatch trying to charge their big suits. So let's just say we had a fairly large unit of 8 bikes in reserve, along with a smaller unit of 3 Alaris Terminators. I should point out that these 2 units in reserve are just under half your army's total points, and thus are the maximum we could have in reserve. So at the start of our turn, we have a Vexilla here, and he's hiding behind this building, trying not to get shot, along with a small unit of 3 Custodian Guard. So, at the start of my turn, the Vexilla is going to advance out. Now, because it's an infantry model, it'll be able to go right through this building. So it got an 8. That'll get it right here in the middle. Now, these Custodian Guard here, they're not going to advance because they want to attempt to charge. So they're going to take 6 inches out and get right here in front of these drones. Lastly, I also happen to have a Custodes Shield Captain on Dawn Eagle jet bike hiding out here out of line of sight, and he'll move his 14 inches right to here. Now, what I want to be careful to do is not have him within too close of a bubble of my Vexilla here, because I want all the space around my Vexilla for a stratagem I'm about to use. It's the end of my movement phase, and I want to deep strike in my Terminators and my bikes. But this Tau player has been very, very clever, and they've made sure that all of their suits are outside of 3 inches of the front line of their screen. So even if I come down and clear the drones, I won't be able to charge the big suits. So even if I deep struck this turn, I likely couldn't hurt these suits. And these few units I have on the board won't be able to clear these drones and hurt them. So at this point, it would be game over for the Custodes player. There isn't anything I can really do here. This is where a very powerful stratagem comes into play called the Vexilla Teleport Homer. This allows me to pick a Vexilla on the board and bring a unit in from reserve within 6 inches of it and 3 inches away from enemy units. This is going to allow me to come in very close here and have a very short charge to these suits, and my bikes might be able to clear out these 20 drones. So let me do the deep strike and show you how it comes out. So at the end of my movement phase here, you could see I have 8 bikes that have dropped in next to this Vexilla. They're all just 3 inches away from these drones, and each model is within 6 inches of the Vexilla. This is a very imposing army of bikes here that just dropped in. My 3 Terminators here are 9 inches away, but within 6 inches of my captain to get the rerolls. So now as I move into the shooting phase, my goal here is to clear all of these 20 drones and maybe even take a few wounds off of one of the suits. Let's see how well we do. Okay, it's the start of my shooting phase, and I have 2 units of 10 drones to get through. Now, I have 8 bikes with Hurricane Bolters, and they're in rapid fire range. That is an amazing 96 shots. So we're going to be able to put 48 shots into one unit and 48 shots into the second unit. Now, these are going to be hitting on 2s and re-rolling 1s. Now, this is more than the small dice I have here, so I'm going to have to add in my big yellow dice here. You can see Custodes throw a lot of dice in the shooting phase. Okay, so here, hitting on 2s and re-rolling 1s. Let's make some space. Okay, so we missed with a few. I'm seeing 3, 4, 5. Okay, but I get to re-roll my 1s. Okay, and 3 more 1s. That's pretty uncommon. We'll just take out a couple yellow dice. Okay, so we have 45 hits. These are a toughness of 4. So this is going to be me wounding on 4s. Okay, I got 23 hits. That's about exactly average here. Now, these drones have a 4-up save, and some of them have a 5-up feel no pain. But there's a few marker drones in these units. So there's 3 marker drones in each unit, so that means there's only 6 shield drones. So we'll start by doing the 6 shield drones one at a time. So the first 6 of these saves on 4s, only 2 passed, and then they have 5 up feel no pains. Okay, so those have killed 2 drones. So now we have 4 more we can do. Those all failed. And not bad with the feel no pains. We've killed another 2. So we'll do only 2 more this time. 1 passed, 1 failed, so that's another 1. Just 1 last one. Got it. And the 5 up. No, okay, so we've killed all of those, and now we just have the 4-up drone saves here, and no, we've cleared the unit. So I'm not going to bother doing it again for the second unit, but you could see they very easily cleared out these 20 drones, and probably if there was another 10, I could still clear them out as well. Up next, we have the shooting from the rest of the units. We have 3 Guardian Spears over here, so that's 6 shots, and we have 3 Castellan Axes, and they're essentially the same. So we're just going to put all of them into the Yavara, and they hit on 2s and reroll 1s. Okay, so they all hit. This is Strength 4 versus Toughness 7. It's 5s to wound. Okay, it's 5 wounds. It's a -1 AP. Whoa, they failed 3. So that's 6 damage that's come through onto this Yavara. So we'll just mark that there. Now we have the grenade launcher, which will go through on him as well. 3, 4, 5, 6 shots. Again, hitting on 2s, re-rolling those 1s. So we got the hits, 5s to wound. Not bad, 3 wounds. These are -3, so it's a 5-up save. Wow, not bad. Okay, so he saved 2 of them. Takes 1 more wound. So we've just cut his wounds in half. That's pretty good. Our Vexilla also has Castellan Axe. So we'll fire with that one. 1 more at a -1. Okay, nothing there. So now we could go into the charge phase, and this unit is going to suffer pretty horribly. But let's give it a shot and let's see what happens. So now we have this charge phase, and we have a pretty difficult decision to make. We really want the bikes to live, and if we charge with them first, we're probably going to get punished. We're going to take these Custodian Guard, and we're going to put them into the Riptide first. The reason for this is I don't think the Riptide has enough shots to take out this unit. And if the other Riptides fire, they won't be able to use supporting fire again in the turn. So I'm baiting the Tau player to use its Overwatch. So either way, I win. If I get in, I tie up the unit, that's great. If they Overwatch and kill it, they've used up their Overwatch and my other units can go in free. I'll declare the charge, and let's just say the Tau player is pretty clever and they don't fall for my trick, and they just Overwatch with the 1 Riptide. Let's see that. The Riptide got 6 hits, and now it's going to roll to wound, and it needs 3s to wound. Not bad. It got 4 wounds on me. Now, I have 1 Storm Shield in here, so these are 3-up saves. I'll do them 2 at a time. So, pass those, and again. Okay, I took 1, so it's 2 damage down, but I've survived, and the Smart Missile System probably won't be able to take me out. Let's take a quick look. Okay, just the 1 hit, no wound. So, I've survived the Overwatch, and let's make the charge now. Okay, 7-inch charge. That's going to be enough to get me into combat there, and I can stay an inch away from this Yavara. Okay, so we've shut down one of the Riptides shooting. Next, we're going to try the same tactic again, and we're going to put the Shield Captain into the other Riptide. Now, this is a tempting target because the Yavara probably wants to kill this guy, and I'm willing to risk it as long as my bikes stay alive. So, I'll declare the charge there, and I think the Yavara will go for it this time. So, let's see what the Yavara gets. The Yavara gets 5, 6 shots. They'll probably command point the 1. Okay, 6, 8 shots. So it's 8 shots, and this Plasma Flamer is a strength of 6. I'm a toughness of 6, so these are going to be winning on force. Whoa, not great. It only got 2 wounds. Now, I have a 3-up invulnerable save, as most shield captains do, so let's roll those. Okay, I passed 1, I fail 1, I took 3 damage. I'm still okay, 7 wounds to start. So 3d3 shots from the other weapon, triple 6. Okay, 9 shots, let's see it. Now, we should assume that this Yavara is not the Tau Sept and is probably a Borkan Sept. That's what almost everyone does. So these are going to be on 6s. Okay, he got 1 hit. Now, this is going to be a 3 to wound. Ooh, fails to wound. Okay, I survived the Overwatch from the Yavara, but the Riptide still has to come in, so let's see what it does. Okay, the Riptide got 6 hits, and it's 4s to wound, so it got 3 wounds. Again, 3-up invulnerable save. All right, I failed another 1. I've taken 5 damage, Now they have their smart missile system, which, again, probably won't hurt me. Not bad. 3 hits, but it's 5s to wound. Only 1 wound, and I have a 3-up save. Okay, I made it. So now let's do the charge. I probably need about a 6-inch charge. Okay, and I get a 7. Now I can charge in here. All right. Now I have my bikes that can charge in next, and nothing can fire Overwatch at them. Both the Riptides are tied up, and the Yavara has used its supporting fire already. So nothing can fire Overwatch, and as you can see, I haven't actually lost a single model yet. So by being careful about the order in which I charge the Tau, I've been able to mitigate this. Now, I can roll for the charge here. I get an 11 inches, and these bikes are going to be able to pile in and touch everything. And because their bases are so big, it's very, very easy to just tuck one bike in and have many other bikes being able to attack, even if they're a little further behind. Now, we want to make sure we leave a bit of a space for our Vexilla to go in, because he's no slouch in combat either. So we'll charge with him. He got a 5. That's all he needs. So he's in combat. These poor Terminators out here, they were never going to make it. They were outside of the 12 inches because they couldn't get close enough. So they're fine. So let's go into the fight phase and see what happens here. You want to be really careful about your order of operations here. Your shield captain and your guard have only charged 1 unit, so they should probably fight first, whereas your bikes have the opportunity to pile in and finish off whatever else is still alive. Now, I'm not going to do this combat, but I can guarantee that at least 2, probably all 3 of these suits will be destroyed this turn. And this would be a devastating result for the Tau. They went from being in an invulnerable position to losing, all because of this Vexilla teleport homer stratagem. Because if you didn't have that stratagem, none of this scenario could have come together. You could see how this stratagem wins me so many games, and it really is worth all 3 CP it costs. The Vexilla Magnifica is an auto-include for me in most of my Custodes armies. The teleport homer ability has won me a huge number of games, and the -1 to hit often helps me win some of my toughest matchups, like Tau and Guard. Check out the next episode of Titan Tactics, where I'm going to be covering the Virtus Praetors, more commonly known as Custodes jet bikes. Thanks for watching.